Hello, class. We're open to week 11. That's the week we're currently in. So my screen you're going to see shows you where we're at right now. This week we are covering chapter 12, which is social psychology. So this is meant just as an overview podcast to show you what's here in the week for you, what you will be working on. Okay. This gives you an overview of the week. So reading through the chapter, I just want to remind you guys that, now there's a heavier emphasis on reading the chapter, maybe even a couple of times through. And really now's the time that using Revel is going to come in handy, especially if you want to go through the chapter with the audio option on and have the chapter read to you, and being able to stop it at any time, watching the embedded videos that are in the chapter as you're reading. That's going to be super important because we're not having class time. I'm trying to recreate for you a schedule that's going to be doable for you. I didn't want you guys all having to tune into Zoom meetings because I just feel like everyone's going Zoom crazy. It's a little bit much. And I wanted you to be able to work through the material on your own time at your own pace. However, there are due dates. But again, please just let me know if any of you are feeling overwhelmed and can't get something in exactly on time. Please just let me know. The goal is to keep you on track so you don't get far behind, but I totally understand individual circumstances right now as I'm dealing with them too. So this is just really meant to help you stay on track. But reading the chapters is really going to be essential. What I've done is I've created 3 different podcasts that are kind of like lecture bursts. So different topics discussed in each one, playing off the lecture slides that I've provided for you. So you can listen to those or not. It's up to you. I've said before, when I post full-length lectures, they're kind of boring and not all the students watch or listen. So I kind of wanted to make it on your own terms, that if you feel like it would be helpful to watch these, you can. If not, you don't need to, because everything is just a reiteration of what's in the chapter already. I've not deviated from the chapter. All the lecture slides will stick exactly to the chapter, so you're not going to be tested on or required to know any information outside what's in the lecture slides and what's in the chapter. Okay, I just want to make sure that that's clear. You have your Hawk reading due this week, 10.4. And let me just scroll down to show you where that is. That's here. It's now an assignment that you're just going to click into, and you're going to do just like you normally would for your Hawk reading assignment. This one's called Obey at Any Cost. It deals with the Milgram study on obedience, and you're answering again the same questions you're always answering for that study, but you're going to submit your answers here in this assignment tab, and that's due by Friday. Okay. Aside from that, look over these objectives here for the chapter. Again, this is the whole chapter. This is what you should know. This is what you should come away with once you've finished the chapter. It's a good indication of whether you're understanding the material, if you can go through these and be able to answer these and understand what they mean. So those are your objectives. Your lecture slides are here. And again, I've chosen to use the lecture slides that are put out by the publisher of your textbook because they're very streamlined, they're easy to work through, they follow the textbook very well, and they're great. They're interactive. When you click in here and you open this PowerPoint, you can play the PowerPoint as a slideshow, and then you can work through each slide playing the videos that are in there. There's some demonstrations, there's some little special things that they do in there. So that's a very interactive sort of lecture slide set, okay? And I hope that that's helpful for you to use that. Aside from that, I've put a lot of videos, and I don't want to inundate you, but let's just quickly go down and see. I don't know what you all have seen or not. Some of you have taken AP psychology as high school students. Some of you have been exposed to this material. So if any of these are videos that you have seen or know about, then by all means, you don't have to watch them, okay? But each of these videos is on a topic that's covered in your book. So this discusses where does prejudice and racism come from. It's Jane Elliott's study with her second graders that she did, the brown-eyed, blue-eyed study. This is about a particular test that is designed to measure implicit prejudice. It's the IAT test. It's talked about in the lecture slides and in your text. It just helps, it's a video, it helps show you how the test works. They do it, they test it out on some people, and you can see the results. It's kind of cool. This is Ash's conformity study, 4 minutes, very quick, shows you how that works. This is a quick Khan Academy little demo of conformity and groupthink, how those two processes work, some great examples in there. This is a modern day Milgram study. So Jerry Berger redid the Milgram study in 2007. You'll see what he found, how he did it. Very, very well done. Good points made about why we obey and when we obey. So this is on obedience. It mimics the Milgram study. This is a video on bystander intervention. What happens when we see an incident occur and we don't know what to do, when there's other people around versus when we're by ourselves. It's based on the Kitty Genovese case, which is kind of what got this whole area started, looking into bystander intervention. Why is it that people don't help as much when other people are around? And then there's a video that mimics that, a mock child abduction. You're going to see a staged kind of what would you do scenario of a child being abducted, and you'll get to see the responses of people. Most don't do anything, and I know that sounds shocking, but you'll see why, and you'll hear some explanation as to why what happened, and that will kind of help, I think, solidify the whole bystander intervention occurrence. This is another Khan Academy video on social facilitation and social loafing, two other concepts that happen in social psychology. Very short, very good explanations, really helpful there. And then I've also put the Stanford Prison Study. So this looks at the power of the situation and the power of the roles that we play in life, and how this can affect our behavior and our actions. Sometimes we act in ways we never thought we would because of who we're around and the setting that we're in. So this is Phil Zimbardo's famous study, Stanford Prison Study, and it's the full-length video of the original study. It's pretty neat. So if you can watch that, that would be great. It is talked about in your book, and it is another study that's in your Hawk book. It isn't one that I required you to read because I knew we would be talking about it in lecture. But it is great if you need that extra resource. If you want to just read up a little bit more about it, you can do that. Try using Chrome, okay? For all of your Play-Doh stuff, you should be using Chrome as your browser or Firefox. Safari does not work well. It has a lot of issues, especially with videos. So don't use Safari. And then I put some crash course videos. So these are the ones you're kind of used to seeing. We've shown in previous weeks. They're fun, they're engaging, they cut to the chase, they get to a topic very quick and present important data. So I hope that will help you zone in on these different concepts, which I talked about in the lecture bursts. I went over these areas specifically: social influence, prejudice, discrimination, and then aggression versus altruism or pro-social behavior, as well as social thinking. So I tried to zone in. These are the areas that are key for social psychology. Not that the others in the lecture slides aren't, but these are the key areas that have a ton of research embedded within them, and I just wanted to make sure you guys understood those, okay? So maybe even watch these crash course videos first and then go to the other videos. The only other thing you have this week, if we go back up to the to-do list, is to participate in a discussion. And I have that here. This is going to be my way to gauge who's participating. In class, it would normally be signing in. We would be doing small group work, group discussion. We don't have that now. So I've just asked you to apply this topic in particular, social psychology, to what's happening today. There's a lot of craziness going on with the COVID-19, a lot of people living in fear, a lot of people hoarding, right? Toilet paper and other goods. Why do you think that's happening? What led to that? What social phenomenon created this burst of activity? And now that we're living in a world where our new norm is social distancing, how is that affecting people? Are people abiding by that new norm? How long did it take for people to abide by that norm, if they are? What might be some things you learned about in the readings that might help explain some of society's response to the coronavirus? I think it's a really interesting example of social psych in our world right now, today. And, I'm hoping that your education here, of what you've learned in this chapter, is going to help you better understand people and their behaviors, that it's not so weird that people went out and hoarded toilet paper because that came from somewhere, right? There was a surge and it came, maybe from the media, social media, people responding to cues that they see in their world, not understanding what's going on, right? This virus has created a lot of uncertainty. How do people act when they're in an uncertain situation? Lots of videos you're watching this week speak to that. Lots of reading you're doing this week speaks to that. How we act, how we behave when we're unfamiliar with something and we don't understand something, or we're fear-driven. Our emotions are driving our behavior. What does that look like? Okay, so I just want to hear from you. I want to hear your opinions, but I want you to kind of use some of what you've learned to help inform your opinions, right? So we have like more educated opinions about why this is occurring. That's it for assignments. I did throw in an extra credit opportunity. It's not due until the 10th, so I wanted to give you some time for it, but I know some of you may be wanting this. Some of you may have missed other past extra credit opportunities. So what it is, it's something fun, actually, I think. It's watching this movie, which is an amazing movie, let me just say, Crash. And the movie deals with prejudice and racism in a bunch of individuals living in LA. It's great actors and actresses, great movie. It's one of my favorites. So what I've asked you to do is to watch this video feature, and then the extra credit assignment is right here. You're just gonna answer these questions after watching the movie. So I know you can't get together with other people, but if you want to watch this via, FaceTime or Zoom or whatever, with a friend, please, by all means do. You can talk about it with your friend while you're watching it. You can, kind of think through some of these questions. I really just wanting you looking at the characters in the movie and seeing, how are they acting? How are they treating each other? Where is it coming from? Think about emotions, think about behavior, think about attitudes. Some of the things talked about in the segment in the book that deals with prejudice and racism, the us versus them, the in-group versus out-group. Who were those people in the movie? Who was the in-group? Who was the out-group? I think it'll be fun as well as informative and educational, I hope. But that's an extra credit opportunity. Please don't feel like you have to do it, okay? It's there if you'd like it. I wanted to offer something. But by all means, if you have a lot on your plate this week and you're feeling overwhelmed, like I am, don't do it, okay? There'll be probably some other opportunities again down the line for you to get some extra credit points, okay? So that's your week in view. Please feel free to email me if you have questions or you get stuck or you're frustrated or you just, need to vent or anything like that, okay? I'm here for you guys, and I wish you well this week.